Hi, welcome to the session number 7, video number 1, an introduction to Prince2 project management. Prince2, which is also known as projects in controlled environment, is a structured project management method and practitioner certification program used and adopted worldwide. Prince2 emphasizes dividing projects into manageable and controllable stages. It is adopted in many countries worldwide, including the UK, Western European countries, and Australia. Prince2 training is available in many languages too. Prince2 was developed as a UK government standard for information systems projects. In July 2013, ownership of the rights to Prince2 was transferred from HM Cabinet Office to Axelos Limited, a joint venture by the Cabinet Office and Capita, with 49% and 51 stakes respectively. In the very first session, we have been talking about the definition of project management. According to Prince2, the project management is the planning, delegating, monitoring, and controlling of all aspects of the project and the motivation of those involved to achieve the project objectives within the expected performance target. It's pretty much what is defined in PMBOK as well. Now let's dig deeper and try to understand what does Prince2 talk about. First, let's have a look at the 6 aspects of Prince2. If you remember, PMBOK has 5 processes and 10 different knowledge areas. Similar to the 10 different knowledge areas, Prince2 focuses on 6 different aspects. As you see on the screen, these 6 different aspects are namely timescales, scope, cost, benefits, quality, and risk. Now let's have a look at each one of these aspects briefly. First, timescales. The question to ask for timescales is, when will the project be completed? Are there any concerns with regard to delivering it within a given time window? What measures are we taking to control the time scale? The second thing is cost. Obviously, the funding or the cost has to be controlled, used appropriately to deliver the project effectively. Projects have to give a return on investment. Therefore, the questions to ask are the costs being controlled? And are we within the budget? The third aspect is quality. Will the product be usable at the end of the project? In other words, will it fit the purpose? Fourth aspect is scope. Is the scope well defined and clear to all stakeholders? Care must be taken by the project manager to avoid scope creep, which is to allow new requirements to be added during the project, particularly at the latter part of the project life cycle. The fourth aspect is benefits. Obviously, there has to be benefits gained by completing a project. Why are we doing this project and what are the benefits are the questions that we ask ourselves. Benefits must be clear and known by the project manager, and the benefits need to be delivered. The sixth aspect, or the last one, is risk. All the projects are unique and therefore have risk. How much risk can we tolerate? How can the risk be managed? For example, in a project concerned with building a house, what happens if one of the subcontractors does not show up? Prince2 is a method that deals with the planning, delegation, monitoring of all 6 project variables or aspects, which are timescales, cost, quality, scope, benefits, and risk. The PM buck refers to these 6 variables as 6 competing project constraints. Now let's have a look at what Prince2 does not include. It's important to know what it doesn't include. It doesn't focus on techniques or try to prescribe how to do something. Prince2 suggests that you should do an investment appraisal as part of your business case. But there are no specific instructions as to how this could be done. This is because every organization will tackle this in a different way. So the important thing is that is done. How you manage is up to you and your organization. Prince2 also exclude specialist aspects such as procurement, HR, legal, or financial areas. The reason for this is because by defining approaches in these areas, the method would no longer be generic and applicable to all project environments. The third aspect, which is not included in Prince2, is management of people. We all know that managing our teams and stakeholders is an important aspect. But again, Prince2 will not prescribe how we should do this. As again, each organization may do this in a different way. What Prince2 does not include is a framework based on sound principles or best business practice that provides a business environment suitable for delivering successful projects. With these principles in place, an organization will be exhibiting specific behaviors to support an organization will be exhibiting specific behaviors to support the project. Now let's have a look at the elements of Prince2. Prince2 method consists of 4 main parts, and Prince2 has chosen the word elements to represent these 4 parts. These elements are principles, themes, processes, and tailoring. Now let's have a look at these 4 parts briefly. First, principles. Prince2 says that each project should consist of 7 Prince2 principles. In other words, best practices. Themes. Themes answer the question regarding what items must be continually addressed during each project. Example, business keys, organization, quality and configuration management. Processes. Processes answer the question regarding what activities are done during the project and by whom. Processes also answers what products are to be created and when. Tailoring. Tailoring answers one of the most common questions from a project manager. How do I best apply Prince2 to my project or my project environment? Now let's have a look at the 7 principles or 7 best practices. Imagine what would happen if your organization did not consider whether a project was worthwhile. It could mean that resources and money are being wasted by undertaking projects which have no benefit to the organization. So create a business justification. We all know the importance of lessons learned and many of us write a lessons report post-project. But have you asked yourself what happens to these reports? So what could your organization do to support this? Well, how about having a lessons learned library or setting up a continuous improvement group that reviews lessons and communicates them into the right areas of the business? The third principle is define roles and responsibilities. Imagine what would happen if no one had responsibility or accountability for anything on the project. It would be chaos. Everyone involved in the project should know exactly what role they will be fulfilling and the associated responsibilities for the role. Your organization should check that the terms of reference of or role descriptions are provided to all team members and to allocate correct level of authority to do their job. Furthermore, allowing those individuals in the project the time to dedicate to the project will also be necessary. Our organizations will want to see a plan. They want to know how long and how much and when. So Prince2 asks for a high-level plan and then a detailed plan stage by stage. Making changes and dealing with issues can often mean that the project needs some more time or some more money. Do the decision makers in the project want to deal with each and every one of these every time it arises? Probably not. So to overcome this and support this principle, your organization will provide the project with tolerances within which to work. There is nothing worse than delivering something to a customer and then they are unhappy with it because it didn't meet their expectations. Ultimately, the project needs to deliver a product or deliverable that is fitting for purpose. This principle can be supported by providing clear requirements and specifications for the deliverables and check-in or ensuring that these are delivered to the customer at the end of the project. Every organization would need to adopt the Prince2 approach to suit the environment in which they do work. You would have to consider what factors make a project unique and then decide how best to apply the Prince2 method. Every organization would need to adopt Prince2 approach to suit the environment in which they can be successful. You would have to consider with what factors make a project unique and then decide how best to apply the Prince method. Now let's look at the term themes. The word themes is used by OGZ methods, for example, the program management method, and it has a similar meaning, which is why it is now used by Prince2. It is also used in PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is the main project management framework used in the US. Now let us examine what themes are. Themes are the parts of the project that need to be continually addressed throughout the project life cycle. Perhaps a better way to explain themes is themes are knowledge areas, so each theme provides knowledge how to go about on a specific area of project management, such as the business case, planning, quality, etc. What activities will you do at the start of the project to set it up, define it, and use to monitor and maintain the project throughout its life cycle? The answer to this question will be the themes. Here's an example. We need a business case to define the reasons for doing the project and to check to see if this reason is still valid. This is covered in the business case theme. Remember that themes are activities that you do at the start of the project to set it up and then use to monitor and maintain the project throughout its life cycle. We can also say that themes are providing guidance on how things should be done during the project. Themes will also be tailored to suit the project you are working on. This will depend on the project you are trying to do and the environment you are working in. For example, if you are building construction, you have only one chance to get it right. Once it's built, it's built. So the quality of what you build will have to be achieved as per the expectation. Now let's have a look at the themes of Prince2. There are 7 different themes. I will briefly discuss each theme, explaining what each theme does and what questions they try to answer. This will make it much easier for you to visualize and remember. Theme number 1, the business case. The business case answers questions like, why are we doing this project? What are the reasons? What are the benefits for this organization? The business case theme also describes how to define the business case. It will be possible to see if there is a valid business case at the start of the project and how to check if the business case is still valid and valuable. The executive is responsible for creating the business case, but it can be written by others or with help of others. For example, the executive might involve a person from the financial department to assist with all financial information. The project mandate document usually contains an outline of the business case. At the startup of the project, this would be expanded to the outline business case, which becomes part of the project brief and then becomes a separate business case document, which becomes part of the PID. The first business case document can be completed once the project plan is ready, as it requires the cost, timescales, and product information. The business case should be updated at the end of each stage to include the latest cost, time, and product information, and to verify that the business case is still valid. The Prince2 manual provides a product description for a business case, and you may search for that. The second theme is organization. The organization theme answers the following questions. Who is who in this project? Who is sponsoring the project? Who is responsible for this business case? Who is representing the users and suppliers? What are the exact roles and responsibilities? Who is the project manager? And so on. A good way to remember this is with the following question. What are the rules of engagement? The organization team provides information on the project management team and its structure and accountability. It talks about the team. basically. A Prince2 project is based on a customer or supply environment. One party is the customer who will specify the result and most likely pay for the project. The other party is the supplier who will provide the resources, do the work and deliver the project. The third theme, the quality. The quality theme answers the following questions. What quality level must the product be at by the end of the project so that it can be correctly used as intended, or in other words, be fit for use? What can we do to check the quality during the project and make sure the project delivers the required level of quality? This theme helps to uncover the quality requirements. The Prince2 approach to quality is to focus on product as early as possible, question the level of quality expected of each product produced in the project, and then document this in the product descriptions. The quality management strategy document is used to define how quality will work in the project, such as standards to be applied and the various responsibilities for achieving the required quality levels during the project. The fourth theme is the plans. This theme answers questions such as how to go about creating the project product, what will be the steps involved, how to do product-based planning, what quality has to be attained, how much will it cost, what will be the level of detail required for each plan, who from the organization is involved and what is their responsibility, when will certain things be done, who needs to receive a copy of the plan, etc. A Prince2 plan is not just a Gantt chart. It is a lot more comprehensive plan. It is a document that describes how, when, and by whom a specific target or set of targets is to be achieved. These targets will include the project's product, timescales, cost, quality, and benefits. There's a lot of text in a plan to help explain what will happen. The project plan is updated at the end of each stage to show what has been done, the products developed so far, and the plan for the next stage. The project plan gives an updated picture of the status of the project that can be compared against the baseline project plan to see how well the project is progressing compared to the plan. You learn about the different levels of plan. The project plan, which is a high-level plan and is mostly used by the project board. The stage plan, which acts as a day-to-day plan for the project manager. And the team plan, which is used by the team manager. The fifth theme is the risk theme. Each project is unique. As it tries to do something new, there's always a certain amount of risk attached to each project. This theme helps to uncover the following information. What are the risks? What if the risks happen? How can risk can be identified, analyzed, and documented? How can the possibility of risk be reduced? How can risk be managed and monitored throughout the project? Risk is an uncertain event or set of events that, if they should occur, would have a positive or negative effect on the project. The word threat is used to describe the negative risk. The word opportunity is used to describe a risk that would have a favorable impact on the project's objectives. The sixth theme is change theme. All projects will have issues and most projects will have requests for change. This change theme deals with the question, what is the impact of this issue? Therefore, this theme describes how the project can assess these issues and requests, act upon and manage them. All of these issues and changes can have a direct impact on the original project plan. Any proposed change must be correctly dealt with. All projects need a good issue and change management approach from identification, assessment, and control of issues. Issues and change control happen during the full life cycle of the project. Remember, the objective is not to prevent changes, but to get the changes agreed upon and approved before they can take place. The change theme also covers configuration management. Each project requires a configuration management system which tracks products, issues, and changes. The configuration management strategy document described how issues and changes will be handled in the project. Now let's talk about the seventh theme, progress theme. During the project life cycle, the project needs to be monitored. Highlight and stage reports have to be written to show how the project is progressing in relation to the agreed plan. Checks must be done to ensure that the escalation process is working correctly. It is necessary to continually evaluate throughout the project life cycle whether the project should be continued with or not. This theme therefore addresses with the following concerns: how the project will be controlled, when reporting will be done, where we are now compared to the plan, is the project still viable. The purpose of the progress theme can be explained in three parts: to establish how to monitor and compare actual achievements against those that have been planned. Second, to provide a forecast for the project objectives and the project's continued viability. Third, to be able to control any unacceptable deviations. In other words, progress is about checking the development of the project when compared to the plan, checking the project viability and controlling any deviations. Control is all about decision making and is central to project management, ensuring that the project remains viable against its approved business case. So with this, we have discussed the 7 themes of project management approach called Prince2. Hope you understand them and how you could relate if you got to use Prince2 in your next project.